Oh yes, that lovely Washington liquid sunshine. You have to love it. Join me on my trip today as we head down to the beach of Ocean Shores to celebrate my birthday. But this isn't any birthday. This is last year's birthday, spoken on this year. So join me on my retrospective. To top off such a sweet event, I wanted to start out with some ice cream, so we hunted for a local shop. This one turned out to also be an arcade. It pouts about having Xbox, but I wasn't here to play no video games. I was here for that sweet, sweet cream. Aw yes, here's our protagonist now, coming out victorious, carrying his wonderful milky shake. It was actually a really good shake. And look, I'll even give you a booty shake for it. Now it was time to hunt our hotel. We already had reservations, and the room we got was with a 4-person hot tub in the room. I know, glorious. You don't even have to get dressed to go down and get into the pool. I was excited. I don't think we got any clips of it, sadly, but you know. And with the liquid sunshine being out so heavily, there really wasn't much to do. So we just retired for the night into the hotel room and enjoyed our hot tub. The gods must have had enough of crying as the liquid sunshine finally vanished, and the next day was beautiful. We had gotten a new camera mount for our car that allowed us to stick it to the hood, and we wanted to take full advantage of that. So while it feels like you're flying by the seat of your pants, you're really just attached to the hood of our car. Watching this video back reminds me of all the things that have happened this last year. From being promoted to losing my job, the loss of friendships, which honestly, as you get older, you just kind of stop making friends. It's weird. It's like you become so mistrusting, and it's that much harder and that much more draining on the social batteries to make friends as an adult. I can remember just like palling it up as a kid, but as an adult I worry sometimes when I interact with new people if they are trying to take advantage or hurt me, and it really dulls the fun that you can have. There is something to be said about being carefree and not really understanding the dangers that are around you in terms of enjoying it. What is that? Ignorance is bliss. And I do believe that that is the truth. And while it might be truthful, the first time you get blown up emotionally or taken advantage or hurt, that ignorance quickly goes away. And maybe it was for the best in the first place, because how else are you supposed to protect yourself? But then the bliss goes with it. Ocean Shores is nestled right below the Olympic National Forest. And the Olympic National Forest is home to some of the biggest trees of their species in the world. They call it the Valley of the Giants, and it's out in Quinault. It features 6 champion trees, including the western red cedar, yellow cedar, Douglas fir, western hemlock, and mountain hemlock, as well as the Sitka Spruce. The one we're here to see today, though, is the Sitka Spruce. You would be forgiven for thinking that all these trees that we're passing are in fact the giant versions of themselves. The next tree seemingly bigger than the one right before it. I would love to say that that is the case, but no. They just grow big out here. The trees create such glorious green tunnels around our roads, almost like a warp tunnel taking you to glorious spots of beautifulness. When I was traveling this road, I remember feeling like I had been transported back in time. It really felt like the 50s, with the little service stations here and there and the houses dotted along the road, looking almost like company houses. The water on the left-hand side really rang in how beautiful this area really was, and I was honestly jealous of the people that got to live here. Then again, you had to drive all the way to get out here, and there's not much around, so maybe the view isn't all that's cake up to be. Or maybe I'm just trying to soothe the fact that I'm really jealous. You tell me. We had finally arrived at the largest Sitka Spruce. This thing is massive. The pathway down was extremely pretty. It was easily navigatable and wasn't too hard of a walk at all. The spruce stands at 191 feet tall and is 58 feet and 11 inches around. The spruce is estimated to be 1,000 years old. Man, the things that it's seen. It's seen the worst that humanity has to offer, from war to genocide. On the other side, it's also gotten to see the best that humanity has to offer as well. Friendship, kindness, love. 1,000 years ago, there was the Norman conquest of Britain. You had Genghis Khan creating the largest empire in history. You had the bubonic plague. Columbus reaches the New World. Shakespeare makes Hamlet. Bach and Beethoven making the music that they do. Darwin coming in with his opinion on where we all come from. The Wright brothers flying an airplane. Dropping the atomic bomb. Launching ourselves into space. All of these events feel like footnotes when you compare them against the other things that have happened in the 1,000 years that this tree has been alive. And in person, this thing is massive. It looks kind of small when you're walking up to it, but it is extremely deceptive. As you get closer and closer, it just keeps growing bigger and bigger until you're upon it and you ever wondered how it could ever seem small to begin with. When you look up, it just takes over the whole sky. I'm not one that believes in much spiritual, but this place definitely has a feel and a power. The Sitka spruce seemed to have the same effect on me that the ocean does. Being so massive and so large and so foreboding, it just takes over everything and reminds you just how teeny and small you really are, how insignificant your life is in the grand scheme of the universe, of everything that's going on around you. It really pulls you back from your selfish thought process where everything was about you and doing what you wanted, and knowing that there's so much more than just you. After our hike and seeing the wonderful tree, we were pretty hungry, and so we decided to head north. Getting back onto Highway 101 north, we head up towards Forks, Washington. You've always seen the memes about it due to the fact that it was a part of that movie franchise that shall not be named. But we came up here for some food. And I was looking for something that was more representative of what people in the area would have eaten that were from here originally. We were able to find this flatbread restaurant called the Longhouse Cafe. It boasts about having native cuisine and ambience, and I do have to say that it was a wonderful lunch. They had a broadcast talking about how the Quinault Indian Nation had started to resume canoe racing, and there was a bunch of music and dancing that really filled the room with that ambience that they were talking about. My only complaint being that it was extremely loud, and they could have turned down the television maybe a little bit. Outside of that, I had a really nice time here, and while I should have maybe taken a picture of my lunch, it was nice to just live in the moment. If you make it to Forks, Washington, and you don't try the Longhouse Cafe, shame on you, because you missed out. Missed out big time, buddy. Even though the day had been so pretty, it was crazy to see so much fog showing up. It made the entire drive back feel a little whimsical. Watching the video footage back, it makes it look a little bit like the lens has got a smudge on it and you're looking through that smudge. I promise that it does not have a smudge on it, and it is just the fog. You'd think with no clouds and pure sun, fog couldn't exist. But that's the whimsy of this area of the coast. It doesn't play like the rest of the world does when it comes to weather. These strange patterns very well probably helping those giant trees grow in the Valley of the Giants. This section of 101 is really interesting. While it does travel along the coast for a good section, it also darts way inland before coming back out to the ocean. Growing up in Oregon, I'm used to 101 hugging the coast pretty exclusively. While it does remove itself a little bit from the coast, you're always within throwing distance. It doesn't feel that way on this one. The section of the highway where you are up against the ocean is incredible though. It is extremely flat. You can see all the way out to the ocean from the road, and the beach is just a flat sheet. I really enjoyed driving Highway 101, and at some point I really would like to go from the northmost point of 101 all the way down to its southernmost tip. Comment below if you think I should do that. If you were going to travel 101, where would you stop? So if you have local knowledge of 101 and you have a place you think I should go, let me know. It had been late afternoon by the time we had gotten to Forks, sometime around about 4, maybe 5-ish. By the time we got done eating, it was about 7. Now Forks is about 2.5 hours north of Ocean Shores, and we thought we would get back and then have some time to hit the beach, and then there had to, for sure, be some place that would be open that we could get food. Oh, how wrong we were. Ocean Shores seems to roll up their sidewalks at about 8:30. I thought maybe there would be like a bar or something that stayed open that served food late. No dice. We ended up driving all the way back into Aberdeen, and we didn't find any place, sadly, that we really wanted to eat at, and ended up eating at an Arby's, which, while the Arby's is in a really strange and kind of sketchy feeling place, the food was really good. Heading back out the next day gave us the ability to have a bridge review. This bridge review is brought to you by the color purple and the letter E. The steel scaffolding of this bridge gives it an elegance that reminds you of an older time, when steel was given the girth of power. I give this 5 rainbows out of 7 goldfishes. Aberdeen is a really old city. Samuel Bean, back in 1859, planted a city there and named it Aberdeen. Aberdeen feels really depressed, almost like it's been forgotten, and everything there feels a little run down. It also feels like a town that you don't stay in long, you pass through. It makes you wonder how such great people have come out of such a little town. I mean, we can definitely talk about the fact that there was Nirvana. And while they are definitely the most famous to have come out of here, you have other people like Victor Greenwich, the pioneer of Silicon Valley. You had Elton Bennett, an artist who is renowned for painting on silk screen. This little town, on the surface, seems not very deep, but it feels like for sure that there is more here. I mean, Patrick Simmons of the Doobie Brothers came from here. Bet you didn't know that. Listened to a podcast recently that had talked about Aberdeen. It spoke of a man named Billy Gohl. Gohl was convicted of 2 murders in 1910 and was suspected of a dozen more occurring between 1905 and, when he was convicted in 1910. However, there's a lot of speculation that isn't exactly what happened here. Aberdeen was a logging town at that time, and a lot of people would get injured and die. And when they died, they would sometimes wind up in the river that floated through town, and that was a part of why Aberdeen was used as due to the river for the logging. And these started to get pinned on Billy when Billy started to push for a union. Well, it wasn't very long after that Billy was suddenly convicted of killing 2 people. Now, I'm not able to say one way or the other, but I will say, given everything that we can look back now, it does seem like maybe Billy was framed just for wanting to, have rights to save the sailors passing through Aberdeen by creating his union. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got bums in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't. And they go deep running around me, my